Now, there's no doubt about it that by far one of the most anticipated Star Wars TV shows of this year is indeed the Ahsoka Tano TV series that's being done by Dave Filoni primarily with the help of Jon Favreau. So we're going to have a lot of mixtures of tones from Favreau and Filoni with their work on the Ahsoka Tano series, which, by the way, they are now aiming to drop it by this fall of 2023 to really get things out there, which could have some kind of relation to the shifting of the Skeleton Crew series. We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing that a lot of fans have been very caught up in has a lot to do with the overall structure of the roadmap of the Star Wars universe and exactly where the Star Wars franchise is actually heading. Now, we already know that a lot of actresses and actors have been becoming more direct and honest with the fans, and one of which has a lot to do with Daisy Ridley. Now, we know that Daisy Ridley, by the way, has been in the talks. We've been talking about this for months now. She has been in multiple conversations with Jon and Dave for a new upcoming post-Episode 9 series to bring characters back like Rey and Ben Solo. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, the thing about Daisy Ridley is that she was able to kind of put things straight about the whole Gina Carano firing and confirming some things about how Lucasfilm treated her and all these different aspects of the Gina Carano situation that happened back in 2021, right? So, obviously, Daisy Ridley, has been a little bit more honest over the past couple of months and really kind of even taking some risks here, but let's dive right into it. Now, with actress Daisy Ridley becoming more honest with fans and direct with them, she recently has been opening up about her experience with the sequels and her opinions on different things. As of late, Daisy was able to express her opinions on the Gina Carano firing that took place in 2021 and said this to the overall entire fandom. I just thought that was a horrible thing for them to do to her. It was clearly out of spite for some odd reason, and I will say that I do vividly remember when I was working on Episode 9 at the time that they were actually filming The Mandalorian, and I heard rumblings of many Lucasfilm employees and creatives trying to find any way to fire her. So that was indeed true. There was some kind of war going on, like it was bullies against some kid. I just never understood the drama and didn't think too much of it at the time, since I was so caught up and wrapped up with Episode 9 and JJ. But yes, I do openly remember more creatives and many creatives and employees trying to find so many petty reasons to get Gina Carano actually terminated, so that part of Gina's firing was true, and that was a true thing, and that was being looked at as a target of some kind, which is sad because to me, I just kept to my business at the time. Now, let me just stop right here for a second. Now, Daisy Ridley, obviously, yes, that part is true. She was extremely busy with Episode 9, and that other part is true, that Mandalorian and Episode 9, they were filming at the same exact time, guys, so even prior to Season 2, Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm employees had big issues with Gina Carano, even before the tweets were made by her. And I think that just goes to show you vividly that they did not like her personally for some reason. Maybe she said some things on set that did not agree with Lucasfilm themselves, who knows. We probably will never know the specifics, to be honest, unless Gina really lays things fully straight. But Daisy really putting it out there and confirming that she heard a lot of this going on when she was filming Episode 9, that this actress was getting picked on, that this actress was dealing with a lot of drama for the Mandalorian set, and it just did not stop. Alright, that was just the beginning of it all. Because this continued, by the way, for the filming of Season 2, which, by the way, was throughout 2020, alright? And that, too, was a big problem, because that is the season that ultimately led to Gina's firing, and not including her for Season 3. With them now trying to get her reinstated for Mando 4, there's been a lot of things happening with Gina. So, Daisy, I gotta give her some credit for being a little bit more brave than the usual actors on there, for kind of giving the fans a true confirmation, a true thing of what really happened, and confirming, you know, that Gina was, yes, being targeted for petty reasons. Moving on. So she goes on to elaborate. This is the kind of stuff that you have to deal with in the film industry sometimes, and it can be very cruel and heartless, and I only hope the best for her and where she is heading. I also remember Kathy talking things over with Gina and getting into some kind of arguments over something I may never know about. It can be a toxic workplace at times when people hold grudges and problems against each other, and to me, that's just not healthy. And you know what? Daisy's right, it's not healthy. That's where Lucasfilm is now thankfully changing, all because of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni laying things straight, firing some creatives, hiring new ones, and being able to do that because of their new privileges over at Lucasfilm. So, I think that obviously when you look at something like this, the fact that you have Daisy really kind of putting things out there that yes, Gina was being targeted for petty reasons on why she should get fired, why she should be let go from the Mandalorian series and just Lucasfilm overall, and it just really kind of gives you a contrast of what was going on between Kennedy, Gina, and Lucasfilm themselves, right? Different departments of Lucasfilm having issues with Gina Carano, and it just goes to show you that it is a toxic workplace, and Jon and Dave are trying to transform it, and I am very thankful about that. Now, the thing that I think fans need to know the most is that Disney CEO Bob Iger now, surprisingly, is welcoming her back in open arms to return from Mando Season 4, despite the shakeup between him and the higher-ups. We know the higher-ups that are more loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, which are roughly 30% of them, do not want Gina back, but those that support Gina outweigh the ones that do not support her, so that's good news. So I think that this year, leading into 2024, you're going to see a lot of great change, not just with how the shows are made and what's going to be shown in these actual shows, but also how Lucasfilm themselves is going to operate as a company, how they are going to treat their people, treat their actual cast and crew, and all the like. You're going to see a massive shift in all of that this year and next year, because next year, we already talked about this, George will be getting a lot of privileges over at the company, taking over and leading the story group, and even calling the shots on who is to be hired, who's not to be hired, how the roadmap is going to be organized, stuff like that. That's for 24. For now, Jon and Dave are taking care of all of that. So, like I say, guys, it's unfortunate, but it's true that this company can be a very toxic workplace at times, and it's just something that caused issues for not just Solo, but also for Rise of Skywalker, and for the latest, The Mandalorian as a whole in the beginning. So overall, guys, fill me in below in the comments what you guys have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you also very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.